Alright, now we should be up and running with sounds. And I'm metering on all the right spots. Thanks, Rob. Rookie error. I haven't played guitar today. It's the first time, hands on the tools. All right, cool. I'll turn my microphone up, get some nice level in this thing. Cool. All right, afternoon. You got a few people watching. Cheers. Where are we? Which camera are we in? We're in this one. Cheers, beers. You've got your favourite beverage, a cup of coffee, glass of water, glass of cordial. Cordial, I don't think we'll ever go out of style. We always keep some cordial in the cupboard. Yeah. And thanks, Lek, for the beers. Lek dropped me around some beers yesterday. Thanks, Lek. Cheers. Cheers, Lek. Thank you very much. Cool. All right, so I hope we're having a good Sunday arvo. It's a bit cooler today. Friday was amazing. Really, I hopped out with a friend that had a wedding, of a very small wedding party of, I think there might have been 6 people at the wedding. I think had no groomsmen, no bridesmaids, and it was an amazing day. We went down the Warrenora River, and I was on video, so I was privileged enough to be able to be there while they did their vows and the whole thing. It was really nice. Hopefully the Gestapo will let us get out and do proper weddings soon. Cool. And I'm sorry, I'm just checking my... Oh, there we go, we're back online. I've got an iPad down here that's got the YouTube running to make sure it looks okay. Cool, one of these days I'll get everything working all right. No one's chatting today. Hello. Out there. Cool. Must be a good day. Everyone's probably out having picnics. I'm sure there will be people that will watch this later at a later point. Cool. Yeah, send through a message. Let me know you're there. I can see that there's some people watching, but I don't know who they are. Cool. So I thought there's a couple of things I thought it'd be good to run through today. I don't have anybody dialing in today. It's just me. I'll have to get someone else to dial in next week and have a chat with them. If you want to be that person, send me a message, and we can tee up a time and a topic to talk about, and yeah, we'll have some fun online. Cool. We're here hiding. Lex says we're hiding. Cool. Thanks, Lake, again for the beers. Cheers. Cool. So I did was working on a track. That was the one I was just noodling over when I just started then, that the acoustic track. And I know I've got some friends and students out there that they're dabbling the foot in the whole recording thing. So I thought I'd go over some things with how to record the old acoustic guitar, because it's a little bit of a different beast to the electric, and I've discovered a few things along the way which might be helpful, might not be. We'll see how we go. About recording acoustic guitar, because the electric guitar, like you can almost plug it straight into the computer with the help of some plugins, and it's pretty much sound pretty cool. But the acoustic guitar can be a bit of a hard bugger to deal with. So let me grab my acoustic and yeah, I've had about 3 people send me some tracks, 3 or 4 people actually this week, of just to showcase what they've been doing with their recordings, and there's some cool stuff happening out there. So I'd encourage you, if you haven't gotten into it yet, start to get into it because it's actually a lot more accessible than it was years ago and a lot cheaper. You don't need crazy equipment to get up and running with it. And the guys that sent me the tracks this week, they haven't really done a lot of. Well, I don't think they've done a lot of recording. A couple of them said they hadn't. Sorry, got distracted. But yeah, so yeah. And this might be applicable to someone recording other acoustic instruments, whether it be drums or whatever. I got a message from Jim. Jim, how you going? Hey, Matt, if you get the chance, thoughts on isolated power supplies? I'm assuming you're talking about isolated power supplies with pedal boards. Yes, they are a good idea. I've probably not when I first started, but I'm just trying to think how many power supplies I've gone through in the years. Yeah, because there was a good chunk there where I wasn't using any power supplies. I was running the AXFX, which is an all-in-one unit for those that don't know that device. And you plug your power cord in and you're ready to go. But whenever I've run a pedal board with pedals and etc., I have used a isolated power supplies. And the idea of isolated power supplies is that it eliminates or tries to eliminate noise interference between pedals through the power chain. I probably can't give you a super technical advice on it, but it does work, especially if you've got a good one. I've used cheap power supplies and expensive power supplies. You can get really pretty cheap isolated power supplies from eBay, guitar, pedal sort of design ones. I think Swamp sells some cheap ones, which actually work all right. The problem I've had in the past with cheaper power supplies is sometimes when you load them up with heaps of pedals, the power dips. There doesn't seem to be enough ampage or wattage or whatever it is to run all the pedals. But as far as noise goes, they seem to be pretty good with the cheap ones. But if you're loading up lots of pedals, sometimes they can be a bit finicky. I use two Strymon. I can't remember the model of them. They're blue ones. And they sit underneath my pedal board, and I run all my pedals into it. So yeah, I reckon they're worth. If noise is something that annoys you, and it does annoy me, especially if you're turning up really loud. You obviously the louder you turn up your amp, the more you notice the noise, and having a nice power supply will sort of reduce that noise quite a lot. But yeah, I use two of them, because I think each one of them gives me 6 outputs on it, maybe. So two of them, I can get 12 pedal boards on my pedal board without having to jumper leads and all that sort of stuff. So yes, good question, Jim. Isolated power boards are a good thing. I would show you my pedal board, but it's just a pain. It's sitting. If I switch down, I'll move back from the mic. Might sound a bit weird. My pedal board's down here on the floor, and they're underneath. Yeah. Cool. Hi. All right. Switch back to there. All right. So back to acoustic guitar and recording acoustic instruments. I think this is in it's in open D at the moment. Nice tuning. Yeah, a little bit different to electric guitar. If you've got a acoustic guitar with some electronics in it, you can plug it straight into your recording device, whether that's an iPad or a computer or some sort of recording device. But I reckon that sounds a bit lame, because generally you're relying upon the sound of whatever pickup you've got in your guitar. Some of them are quite good. This one is okay, but I don't think the the pickups you get in acoustic instruments really give a fair replication of what you've got when what you're hearing in the room. It's always like a fake imitation. I really don't like doing gigs with just acoustic guitar because it's not the same. Because obviously you could plug in and it's loud PA and yeah. If I could have a mic sitting in front of me in an acoustic gig, that would be really cool. So what I would normally use to record my acoustic guitar is one or two things. And I'm trying to find, this is my drawer of magical secrets. Oh, I'm missing a microphone, I think. Oh no, I'm not. They're both here. All right. So I will either use two of these little pencil microphones, and these are, what are they? Rode M5s. Really cool. If I switch to this one, I'll probably give you a better close up, and it probably won't focus in on the little brand of it. But trust me, it says Rode M5. Rode. And they're a good little microphone, and I would normally use two of them. Here I got two of them. These are a matched stereo pair, and the way I would normally set these up would be, switch back to that camera, would be to, if I was sitting in the room here, one would be could be pointed around this area on the neck, and then another one on a different angle, and I'd sort of zoom in and scope around to try and find the sweet spot. There is I think it's mid-side or XY pattern where you put the microphones in a configuration like that in a stand, and it apparently gives you a good stereo image because the sound is being picked up on this axis with this microphone and on that axis with that microphone, and apparently that works quite well. I've also had good results when you sort of set them up configuration like that, like a V, and one bit's pointing to one guitar, the other one's pointing to the other, but a part of the guitar. Yeah, so sometimes I'll use those, and they give me a different effect to a condenser microphone. And I had one of my students went to that this week or last week and bought himself a condenser microphone. This is the one that I'm talking into at the moment. So when I move this around, it's probably going to freak out and give you lots of pops. And so that's my Rode microphone, and this boom is not the greatest, but cheap eBay boom. So that's what's called an NT1000. I'll pop it back up out of the way. And yeah, you can see when I've got that pointed at my head in the right angle, it gives me a nice warm tone. But when I back away from it, you can see it thins out a little bit, and I get more of that ambient room sound. So what I will do sometimes, if I want a really big, nice warm acoustic sound, so I'll just set that back up, I will use that microphone. And that's especially if it's a solo acoustic guitar bit that I want the acoustic guitar to be the main center of the song, I'll use this one because it's a bit warmer. If I want it to be a rhythmic sort of strummy thing, I will go for the little microphones. And the reason why I use Rode microphones is because they're really good quality for the money you have to pay for them. I would love to have a couple of really nice, expensive Neumann microphones, but yeah, I don't have that much money to throw at things like that. That would be really cool. Like a set of these little pencil condenser microphones, I think a pair of them are like $1,500 to $2,000 maybe. I think one of these, there might be even more than that. I think one of these is like $700. And I think I got the pair of these for $250 or something like that. I might be wrong, but they're comparative to what the Neumanns. Obviously the Neumanns are a bit smoother in sound, but I couldn't justify spending that much money on two little tiny microphones that you use every now and again. I have tossed up about buying a nice guitar cabinet microphone, like a ribbon microphone to go on my guitar amp, because that's probably the one that I use the most. But yeah, going back to the big condenser, you get a warmer sort of bigger sound out of that. And I will probably, so you can hear that's quite a rich sound. Whoa, I think I need to go get some guitar lessons. If you guys know of anyone that gives good guitar lessons, let me know. I'll go get some lessons. But yeah, this is a really nice microphone. And where I would set this one up, I mean, that's working quite well at the moment, but probably it's a little bit too far. If I brought that in a little bit further, I would get less of that big roomy sound. And I would get a bit more of a direct thing. This is not going to work because of the way I've got this boom set up. Normally I'd put it on a proper mic stand. So you can see that sounds not totally different, but a lot different to what I had before when it was up. And if I added a little bit of sexiness like this. Oh, it's not working. Hello? I've got a reverb there, but for some reason it doesn't want to work. Maybe we're going to turn it up. Oh, can you hear that? It's all about the reverb. Let me try this reverb. If that is open D, might be something else. Oh, whatever, but you can hear, I'll turn that reverb off now because it's a bit distracting. You can hear by just positioning the microphone in the sweet spot or into the sweet spot, I get a big fat round sound, and that's probably one of my favorite mics for doing that. I actually remember doing a recording for one of my mates who was doing an album. He said, "Can you come and play some guitar?" I went, "Yeah." And I just had my little Mesa Boogie combo at the time, my guitar, and we plugged in and I played some tunes. And he had a mic similar to this one, but it was a valve microphone. So I think it was called the Rode. I'm going to turn this mic down a little bit. The Rode NTK. So apparently it's the same microphone as this one, but it's got a valve in it, and we all know everything with valves is way better than without, unless you're a drummer, because I don't know how valves would go in your drum kit. It probably would not work all that well, but everything else with valves is good, especially if you're talking about a V8 engine or a Harley or a Triumph or whatever bike you ride, Lek, or whichever one you choose to ride that day. I was talking to Lek yesterday. He's got lots of bikes. You should give me a tour of your garage one day, Lek. I would be interested to see that. Cool. Yeah. So different mics over an acoustic instrument, even if it's something stupid like this. Now, believe it or not, this is a ukulele and it has a pickup in it. I bought it thinking, oh, that's a cool. It wasn't too much more than the other one without a pickup, and this one sounded a bit better. And I've used this for a couple of little recording things. Stupid instrument. But yeah. So I've used this for some different things. And once again, in front of a mic is way better than the pissy little piece of crap they put in these things. This is I don't even know what brand this is. Tanglewood. All right, there you go. Tanglewood. I don't even know if they pick up. I have tried the pickup, but it's a piece of crap. So yeah, any acoustic instrument, mic all the way. Mic all the way. I reckon mic all the way with lots of things nowadays. I'm sort of leaning away from plugins and stuff like that. They do the job, but I think mics give you a certain edge to the sound that you don't get from software. There's something just misses. Even with like big processors like the XFX and all that sort of stuff, it's just not. It's pretty damn close, but I think there's something edgy about a mic that's moving the air, which is the other thing I wanted to talk about with the whole studio environment and working with microphones and even in a studio thing. Because I had one of the guys sent me a recording. He says, I was mixing with headphones and it sounded different than when I was trying to listen to it through the speakers, and I think that's the biggest problem that a lot of recording people, what do you call them, musicians or engineers, have, is the acoustic environment in the room. Not only for capturing a sound with a device like a microphone or something, but also listening back to those sounds, which I think if you use in the right way will work in your benefit, but you just need to be aware of it. If you're aware of it, then it's easier to manage. So as far as microphones, obviously if I'm sitting back in the room, you're hearing less direct sound into the microphone. You're hearing more reflections off different surfaces in the room. And I ran into a bit of a problem when I was recording my guitar for that track that I played before. I'll play a little bit of it more again for you so you can hear. So the acoustic guitar is a little bit hidden back in the mix. It's not very forward. I ran into a problem because, like I said, normally I would take this microphone off, mount it on a short boom, and I would sit in a good spot in the room where I feel like I get the right sound through the microphone. But what I did, I let the mic sit down near the table there, and I was getting this really weird mid-frequency thing happening. And I think it was because of the reflection off the desk. The sound was obviously hitting the desk and bouncing into the mic in weird ways. So finding a sweet spot in your room when you're miking things goes a long way, because I can EQ and tweak things, but you're better off getting a good original sound at the outset rather than having to tweak something to try and correct any errors. And I think it's the same with drums. I remember we recorded some of my mate Warren's drums, not this lockdown but previous lockdown, when we could actually get out and record some stuff. We took his drums up to the church building and I recorded his drums. That we think we did a Bon Jovi thing was recorded with acoustic drums that I showed a while ago. Those are really echoey rooms, so we had to try and fight that echo and that thing happening in the room, which is why a lot of studios will spend a lot of money sound treating their room or soundproofing or trying to limit or control the amount of reflection in the room, which is probably why when you sing in the bathroom it sounds really good, because you're hearing that reflection come off those hard surfaces. So when you're going back to the whole thing, if you're recording, be mindful of where you're sitting in the room, where the microphone is sitting in the room, and the effects that those things have upon the final sound. I've got a glass window to my right. For those of you who've been in the studio, you would have seen that. That can have a big impact upon this microphone too. I find if I have it in the wrong spot, it sort of makes it sound a bit ugly. But there's a couple of sweet spots where I know I can go and sit there and it sounds pretty damn good. And probably me sitting here with the microphone about here is probably one of those sweet spots. Yeah, with the head of the microphone, like head microphones up here. If it was down here a bit lower, pointing directly into the guitar, that I would get probably better results. And I probably should have done that with that track. So yeah, so the room will have an impact upon how that sounds. So if you're in a back room with plasterboard roof and ceilings with maybe a hardwood floor or even a lino floor, or anything that's hard, that if you stand in the room and you clap your hand, you can hear a reflection. That's going to have a big impact upon what's going on with that microphone or what it's picking up in the room. So you want to try and control that, or find a spot where the reflection's not as bad. You just sort of put your head in a spot and clap your hands and you can hear what's going on with that reflection. But sometimes reflections are a good thing, and I like to get a little bit of room reflection in my guitar sound, stop it from sounding too direct. So going to the other thing as far as monitors, so when you've recorded your parts, listening back and then trying to get levels of things, you notice that track, it's quite bass heavy. And the piano and the guitar are slightly panned either side, and they're hidden back a little bit, and there's some pads, and there's a kick drum. I'll show you again. And there's this panning rim shot snare across the... If you're listening to it on a good stereo, you would hear that panning. So listening and trying to get things in balance, not only levels but tonality as well. I used to run a subwoofer in my room here, and it's only a small room. For those of you that have been here would know. I'm going to change camera angles just because I can. And I found there was too much bass energy in the room, so I was compensating my mix because that's what I was hearing in the room. And when I took it and plugged it in the car, it sounded terrible, because not only was that bass energy out of balance with the other frequencies in the sound spectrum of the song, but also the balance of the instruments was out of kilter, because I can't remember if I was bringing it down. I always get confused. So you go the opposite direction when you've got too much in one room and in your room, and yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So I found that even though the sub sounded really good in this room and it's like made it sound ballsy, it affected my perception of what the mix needed. So having a smaller speaker and turning it down, we're not energizing the room as much. So me being a small room, and if for those of you who haven't been here, I'll put my GoPro back on. It is a pretty small space. So that quad box that I've got behind me, that's the end of my room. What camera am I in? That one there. The quad box is basically against an angled wall there. And yeah, so it's not a massive room. But I make it work, which is the other thing. I think you can make whatever you have. You don't have to have the most amazing space or the most amazing gear or really expensive speakers. If you know what you're dealing with, you can make pretty much anything work. And I've got some really good results. And I last year I changed over my studio monitors to better ones, and it made a difference. But I had to learn the sound of these speakers in this room, where I knew the other ones inside and out, and I knew, okay, how much to push the top end. I needed a little bit more top end because they were a little bit dull. I think I wasn't really hearing anything above 10K with those other studio monitors, but these ones I can perceive a little bit more higher frequencies. out of these speakers in this room. But yeah, so it's learning how to get your head around what you're doing. And like I said, if you're trying to get levels, I find keeping the level quite low and listening very carefully is good. And then if you want to get a really good mix, take what you've got and stick it in your stereo at home or in another room, or stick it in the car. Go for a walk with it in your phone with some cruddy, not some good headphones, but some cruddy ones to see what it sounds like. And that, can you hear all those instruments and those frequencies? And I think that, with a bit of practice and experience in your space with your gear, you can make some good results. And the results that guys have been sending me this week have been pretty good. I'm still yet to finish off my tracks to send out to people so you can record some solos, but that I'm getting closer. I recorded some more parts. I've got some people on the ball to try and get some things recorded for those 2 songs we've been doing. If you're watching at the moment, you haven't heard about that. I want to get some different people to record some solos and videos, and I'm going to compile them and just sticking them up on my YouTube just for fun. Just so you can show grandma or your grandkids or Uncle Bob or whoever. Yeah, it's just for the fun of it. We're not being too serious. But yeah, I think we need to be creative in this time to keep us all sane. So what was I talking about? Yeah, so the environment. So capturing your sound as well as listening back once you've captured that sound. Both those things play a very important role in producing a good sound in what you do. Obviously, the closer I mic a particular instrument, the less impact the room has. But like I said, I like a little bit of room sound in what I do. Just like when I play electric guitar, I can give you a... I'll put this away. Hang on. This guitar needs a bit of loving because it's got a crackly knob, and I plugged in the wrong socket. So this, you can't hear it now. It's behaving itself. So back to direct sounds, because what you're hearing at the moment is a lot of delay pedal. If I turn the delay pedal off, so you're hearing my mic is picking up the guitar as well as the microphone that's sitting on the guitar cab. If I turn my mic off, so even that has... Hang on. I turned the wrong mic off. Hang on. Turn this one off. All right, back on. So that was the sound without my Rode on. So I like to mix a little bit of that in with the direct sound if I'm recording, and I'll try to give you an example. So I'm gonna dip the volume on this microphone, just blend it in a little bit. So that's got a little bit of this microphone in it. If I mute that again. And bring a little bit back in. just makes it sound a little, I'm just turning it back up so you can hear me talk properly again. It just makes it sound a little bit more rounder in its tonality. So yeah, multi-miking different things is really cool, just like it would with the guitar, setting up 2 different microphones over the acoustic guitar. And drummers do that all the time. They'll set different mics up around the drum kit. And if you look at some different things on YouTube about recording techniques, a lot of guys do different things. I remember hearing a story of John Bonham recording one of Led Zeppelin's things. And apparently he had a microphone, just the cable was wrapped around his neck, and the microphone was just sitting on his chest, and he had headphones. So he would play, and this is the only thing picking up the sound of those drums. And if the cymbals were a little bit loud, the engineer would just say, hey, just back off. And he would just hit that particular cymbal a little bit lighter to try and balance out the sounds. I don't know how true that is, but it's a cool story. So yeah, so I hope that gives you a little bit of an insight into miking things. I'm just looking through my notes to make sure I didn't forget anything. So yeah, so using condenser microphones or different types of microphones has a big impact upon what you do. Understanding room reflections and acoustics for monitoring and recording purposes. And I thought, just to recap on a little discussion that I had with Rob on last week's stream, for those of you that haven't tuned into that one, go back and watch it, because remember, everything that I stream here gets saved on YouTube, so you can go back and see the last week's, because I tried to give Rob as much airtime as much as I could to hear his point of views on those 3 points on how to see musical growth in what you do. I thought I just wanted to add my 2 cents, and I haven't done the little graphics lately, so I'll need to start that up again, do my little segments. But yeah, my 2 cents on those 3 points. The 3 points were intentional, focus, and practice. So how do we get better at anything we do in music, whether it's recording or playing our instrument? And I should really, I wonder if I can write this up for you. Hang on, let me do a text thing here. Will this work? Will this work? It should work. Let's give it a go. All right. Oh. Point number 1 was intentional focus / practice. Alright, so whoop. Oh jeez, I should not try and do this stuff while I'm doing a live stream, but anyway. So intentional focus and practice when you're practicing. So being intentional about what you're trying to achieve. So if you're guitar playing, you want to get your scale playing stronger, or your awareness of the fretboard stronger, or yeah, there's probably no better way to say that. You would have to intentionally focus on that area. Or if you wanted to get good at your sweep picking or your arpeggios or playing over chord changes, doing some intentionally focused time and exercises or whatever it might be over that area is really the only way to improve over that area. If I wanted to be better at sweep picking, if that's what you're into, just playing my scales is not going to get me there. So it's a bit of an obvious statement, but I think sometimes we forget that, and we go through and just go through the motion. I'll do my scales and then I'll work on a song or whatever, and then wonder why haven't I got better at that skill? It's because you've got to be intentional about it. So yeah, working over that particular skill. And I remember talking to Warren about how he was with his drumming, wanting to get better at a certain thing, and struggled trying to get, but he sort of got some coaching off some different people and got better at that skill. So that's probably another good thing. If you want to get good at particular things, seek someone out who you know is good at that and suck their brain and figure out how they got there, which sometimes can be a bit hard because sometimes some musicians don't know how they got there. Some things I don't know how I got there with some things, but some things I do. So that was the first thing. The second thing was pressure testing, maybe in the form of accountability with a teacher or a coach. Could be a project you're working on. Let me write that one up, seeing as I wrote the other one up. I can't not write these down for you guys. Sorry. Just bear with me for a second, and I will copy that, and I will paste it. Paste. Reference, and let me see if this works. Oh, now you can see two of them, and can I type over that? Properties. So number 2, what did I say? Pressure and / testing. I'll put that's all. I'll just do that. Pressure testing. I don't know what I did then. I'm a rookie at this. Screw it. Yes, remove it. All right. So pressure testing. And like I said, that might be a project you're working on. And set yourself a little goal. Go, okay, today, this week, I'm going to record this, and I'm gonna do this, and then give it to someone to get some feedback on it. That's a good form of testing. Or accountability with a teacher or a coach or someone that you say, look, I'm going to be a better songwriter. Find someone that you know is good at that particular game and get them to say, hey, can you check up with me a week and see if I've done this? And I remember hearing someone say, I can't remember who it was, that growth will never happen in your life without pressure. And he used the example of a baby being born. And he said when a baby's being born, the mother's womb is doing contractions trying to squeeze that little sucker out. And the recent mothers, or the mothers full stop will testament to that. The baby can't be born without that pressure. Even, I think, when they do Caesar, tell me if I'm wrong, mothers, I think they still sort of squeeze. I don't know what they do. But there is some sort of pressure involved in getting that baby out of that place. So pressure and testing, like I said, could be project. Get someone accountable to kick your ass if you're not doing what you're doing. And the third thing was measurement of your progress. And I reckon this is the one that probably a lot of people lose out on, because not measuring your growth will have an impact upon your motivation. And I know the same thing with myself. If I feel like, I want to get better at this particular skill, doing some sort of recording, or even if it's just a phone, you video yourself doing a particular thing, and set yourself a time. So, okay, in 2 weeks, I'm going to video myself, or whatever it is, doing that same thing, and then you look back and reflect upon how much you've grown or what areas you've grown. And that is a very, very extremely powerful thing to do, because not only does it motivate you, because hopefully you can see some growth in what you've done, but it also shows you the areas that you still need to develop or work on. So those two things are really super powerful. Like I said, a lot of people disregard that and just think, if I noodle away for the next 10 years, hopefully I will get this. But the video device is extremely, because not only can you hear it, but you can see how your hands are moving over that particular thing, or whether it's a drum thing or a saxophone thing or whatever it might be. So that is really, I would encourage you all to do that. That's why I'm trying to encourage people to get some solos happening when I get these backing tracks done. I need to get these bloody things done. So I'll endeavour to make a really good, strong, hard push this week to get those done things knocked out so we can get to work on that, yeah? Yeah, so the 3 points, I'm going to turn this one off because it's, I didn't get to finish. I should have typed it out beforehand. But anyway, first thing was intentional focus and practice, pressure and testing, and measurement. So yeah, be encouraged. I think a lot of, especially older students, get discouraged because they think, oh, I might be just past it. I think that's a load of rubbish. I reckon we can all grow in what we do. We might not be the next Steve Vai or Al Di Meola or Jack Jones, but we can all grow in what we do with intentionality. Yeah. So hopefully that's been helpful. So we've reached the 5 o'clock mark. So cheers. Hopefully this has been helpful, insightful, entertaining in some form or fashion. And like I said, if you want me to cover any other topics, thanks Jim for your little question that came through. That was really good. Keep them coming. And even if I can't give you an answer, I can find someone that we can probably get them on to give you the answer. Yeah, cool. All right, cool. Alrighty, guys. So hopefully this has been good for you. Like I said, I'm doing the Wednesday practice session. So if you're a guitar player or you just want to watch me practice, join in a Wednesday midday. I was doing the Friday free beginners lesson, but I didn't get anybody watching it, so I thought, screw it. I'm not going to waste my time doing that. Cool. So have a good rest of your day. Be good to each other. Be kind to people. Often in these times we can often be blunt when we've got someone being a bit pig-headed over a particular topic or trying to shove something down our throats. But let's be good neighbours to one another, yeah, and be nice and be helpful. Be good human citizens, and do unto others as you would have them do unto you. There you go. There's your Bible verse for the day. I don't know what Bible verse. I'm sure it's in Matthew somewhere, but yeah, cool. All right, cool. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.